UNISWAP, the greatest DeFi app out there that made DeFi easy and accessible to a lot of people. And that's with $1.4 trillion in trading volume as of today, with their open source code forked thousands of times, and by far the most trading volume compared to all of the competitors that also use Uniswap's open source code. And that's why we should take a look at Uniswap. We're going to take a look at how it has evolved over the ages, what we had before, how it works. We're going to talk about the token, the tokenomics, and I'm just going to save you some time here. The token is only for governance. There is no way for a token holder to accrue any other type of value from holding that token. And before we jump into any of that, this is just educational information. It is not financial advice. It is just for people that want to learn about Uniswap and how it works. And before we begin, I'm Dan. I make crypto content that is easy to understand for everybody. I try to take out all the technical jargon, or at least I break that down, so the regular person can understand what's happening, how they can benefit, how they can be more educated in the future. Alright, Uniswap was launched in 2018, and it solved all the problems we had with previous decentralized exchanges, like Ether Delta. With Ether Delta, it was very easy to make a mistake. You could sell your assets for a fraction of what they were worth because you had to manually put in the value against ETH. And depending on the coin, that could have involved a lot of zeros. And some of the biggest problems that DeFi users had with Ether Delta was that there wasn't a lot of liquidity, there weren't a lot of options, it wasn't easy to use, and you had to be a very advanced user to be comfortable using it. Otherwise, you could make a very expensive mistake. And in 2018, the SEC sued the owner of Ether Delta. So for DeFi to live on, people needed an exchange that was easy to use, that had liquidity, and that's where Uniswap came in with their automated market maker. That's an AMM. And this is how an AMM works. If you're new to DeFi and you're not familiar with the jargon or the concepts, it's going to seem very confusing unless you get involved with a liquidity pool. Liquidity pools are when you deposit assets to an exchange to participate in their AMM, their automated market makers. So let's walk through that. An AMM uses this formula to perform its operations, and I'm just showing you this to confuse you. But what's really happening is you are depositing two different assets, let's say bananas and apples, and you deposit an equivalent amount. You deposit 50 and 50. As the price of apples goes up, you have to compensate that by buying more bananas so you have an equivalent value. So an AMM is automatically buying and selling two different assets, and it's keeping that balance. But that also comes at the risk of impermanent loss, because if the price goes up or down too quickly, you can lose more of your funds by providing liquidity rather than just holding those assets separately. So here we are in Uniswap. We have connected our wallet. We are connected to the Arbitrum network for this example, because I don't want to spend a lot in gas and I don't want to wait for slow transactions. So we'll use that, and we're going to jump over to the pool. This is the liquidity pool section. We will be adding our funds to participate in a liquidity pool. If you're not familiar, liquidity just refers to you depositing assets to the platform so people can make trades with it. So that just makes trading an asset more liquid. If there isn't enough liquidity on there for you to make your trade, then it would be illiquid. And we could look at pools on another platform just to show that, yeah, things can be illiquid and people can't trade it because there isn't enough liquidity. It's going to make a little more sense as we walk through it. So we're going to create a new position, and we are going to select ETH, and it says select pair. So we're going to have to add two assets, and we can select whatever two assets we want. For this example, I'm going to choose Ethereum, and I'm going to choose USDT. Now with Uniswap, you can choose how much you want to earn in fees. It can be from 0.01% to 0.05% to 0.3% to up to 1%. For this type of pair, it's recommended that you go with the 0.05% tier because that's what 92% of people have selected. And that makes it more possible for you to actually earn on this platform because if your fees are too high, maybe your liquidity doesn't get used. And with Uniswap v3, you can set your price range. So that just means if Ethereum is at $1,954, if I only want to provide liquidity between $1,900 and $2,000, I can do that. That's up to me. So let's try that. So we're going to do 1900, we're going to go 2000, but you also have to remember if it goes outside this range, we stop providing liquidity completely. If we don't even want to think about that, we could also just do full range, and you would do that just by selecting this here. It shows my available balance, how much I can add, and you want to go with the lower side. So I have $49 in USDT. If I hit max there, it's going to automatically populate the equivalent in ETH. So it is adding a 50-50 ratio of this. So with this automated market maker system, I would be depositing an equivalent amount of two different assets, Ethereum and USDT, and it makes it possible for people to trade on Uniswap between Ethereum and USDT. So the automated market maker system is you depositing assets to the platform. You're going to get liquidity provider tokens in return. This represents your share of that liquidity pool. And as people trade against the liquidity you and other people provide to the platform, you would be earning liquidity provider fees. So in this case, we saw that the fee tier is 0.05%. And it actually shows us, if we wait a little bit, what other people are selecting. So with automated market makers, it's automatic. You deposit liquidity to the platform. Other people use that to trade. As people trade, they have to pay a trading fee. And that trading fee goes to the people providing liquidity. And if that was helpful, feel free to hit that like button because now you understand how an automated market maker works. So if you haven't done it before, you'd have to approve your USDT for trading on Uniswap, and this is just common whenever you are using DeFi. And I would go with max amounts. The most this protocol can spend on my behalf is the amount I want to trade, which is 49.97. And that just makes sure that in the event of a hack or something, my wallet isn't compromised for more than that. And that has been approved. Now we are going to add liquidity. Gonna hit confirm. We have added liquidity to the V3 pool in Uniswap. We can see that the price range is set to infinity, and I would earn fees whenever people trade against the USDT ETH pair in Uniswap. If I wanted to remove the liquidity, it would just be as easy as hitting remove liquidity, hitting maximum amounts, hit remove, approve your wallet transaction, and we wait for just a second, and we've removed the liquidity. And now we have ETH and USDT back in our wallet. So if we hit swap, and let's say we have USDT and we want to buy Ether, we have that $49 and change back in our wallet. This was all in real time. It's very fast. If you're using a fast network like a layer 2 blockchain like Arbitrum, Optimism, Polygon, BNB is pretty fast. If you're on Ethereum, you might have to wait like a minute or something whenever you are doing this type of trading. For myself, I don't own any Uniswap tokens. I'm not saying it's a bad thing or a good thing. The price could go up or down, but I like things where token holders can earn value over time rather than governance. I love what Uniswap is doing. I support that, just not financially. So if you want to invest, that's up to you. Please do your own research and form your own opinion. I just try to simplify and provide all this information and package it up for people to quickly understand what's going on in certain protocols. If this video was helpful, thanks for liking the video. Follow me on Twitter, get a sporadic newsletter, links are in the description. And with that, I hope you got your full value for today.